Here we go. Welcome everyone to another Tenity Demo Day here at UBS. I am very excited to have you all here. Let's see, this works perfectly. I love it. So I will be your host tonight. I am Joelle. I'm the ecosystem lead at Tenity, and this is a very special demo day because it's our 10th batch graduating and continuing on creating the big bang in the finance and insurance industry. Very good. So let's jump right in. The agenda of tonight, we're a tiny bit behind schedule, so, well, we'll have to adjust these numbers, but you know. First of all, we'll have a very warm welcome from our hosts here at UBS and, of course, Tenity as well. We'll talk a bit about what we do and how we got here. After that, we will jump straight into the startup pitches. Each startup, it's 7 in total, will pitch 3 minutes. And after that, I have the great pleasure that we're going to have 4 sharks here tonight for our very own Shark Tank at Tenity Demo Day. So they will have 5 minutes to ask questions to the startup, grill them a bit, and learn more also for you then to follow up later on. Of course, this won't be in vain. We will have an award ceremony at the end where we will announce the Shark Tank Award winner. But also, don't get too comfortable. We'll also have an audience winner. So you will have the chance to vote for best storytelling tonight. So pay close attention. Cool. And then afterwards, of course, you know it. I'm assuming that's why all of you are here today. The networking and the apero is going to be downstairs on the first floor, where the startups also have their tables, so you can talk to them one-on-one and learn more about what they do. So to warm you up a bit, since you have a little job tonight, who's here for the first time at the Tenity Demo Day? Oh, wow, that's rather a lot. Well, I'm not counting the startups because obviously they're the first time here. So that's rather a lot. I'm very glad you found your way here to the UBS Conference Center. Who's a recurring member and attendee of our demo days? Well, it's about half maybe. Super glad to welcome you back. I'm looking forward to catching up with all of you later tonight. Great. Then we will jump right into, yes, the welcome remarks. Welcome with me on stage, Mark Hauser from Tenity.
Well, it's happening. The last 4 months we're planning towards this, what is happening tonight in this evening. The startups, together with the entire team at Tenity, has worked intensively to yes, perfect the pitch, but also to progress the companies and bring them to the next level. And I have to say, I'm super proud of what we have seen, and I'm super excited to see what is tonight. I have seen the last pitch maybe 2 months ago, so I expect a lot. It was already great back then. Dear partners, dear investors, dear startups, dear mentors, but also friends of Tenity, welcome. My name is Mark Hauser, and I have the pleasure to head Tenity for the European business. I'm also a managing partner, and you will see why this is important. For us, this is a really special demo day, and Joel already mentioned it. It's for 3 main reasons. Number 1, yes, it's the number 10. Right? 10 is always a good milestone to look back. We still think in these systems, right? 10, 100, 1,000, so let's see where it leads us. But number 2 is we are at UBS. And that's the first time we are here. And I'm super excited because for me it's a coming home. I have been in this room many times during my 6 years at UBS, in Paradeplatz where my base was, or Berengasse or Europalais, always came back here. So I love to be back. And obviously the third why it's important or special is it's the first one as Tenity. Before, as mentioned already, we were F10. And for us, I think in the team it became like second nature. We don't even think that much, at least for my case, not that much of the F10 anymore. But I think for many of you, it might be first touch point with Tenity. And just one word, right? In the past, we were F10, with the number 10 because that was where we lived, and we kept that 10 in, and now it's from 10 to infinity, which leads to tenity, if you were wondering what the word creation is. Before we get to the pitches, though, I would just take a minute, because also obviously half of the attendees tonight are here for the first time. I don't want to overstretch, but quickly give you some. So it's moving on the right, but it's not moving on top. Oh, no. Okay, thank you. So Tenity, right, we see ourselves as a global ecosystem, an innovation ecosystem. Everything we do is really geared towards making innovation work, and by that defining the future of finance. And this becomes clear when we look at how we see the world, right? Number one is a lot of innovation is coming from the outside. Obviously, the founders, they dedicate a lot of their time, dedication, money into a future vision. They see a future state of the world and invest a lot, right? So they can actually build and have time for innovation. Whereas the corporates, and here is a study from McKinsey, right? Many digital transformation projects fail, and obviously then the magic happens, in our view, when we bring those sides together and we make the elephant dance with the mouse. Very quick history, 2015, not 160 years, just closing in on 8 years, 30 people globally, also much smaller, with 7 locations where we have feet on the ground, and so far about 370 million that has been invested in Tenity alumni. History, right? We started within 6. So this is where we were born, with the idea to bring innovation from the outside inside. And over the years, we were growing up. And now with the last step here on the scale up on top, it's really the step where we became a bit independent from 6. So I always call it turning 18. We're growing up, we're getting our own entrance, which in our case actually is literally true. And also we have an investment round, and the managing partners could buy a part of the company. And now the goal with this together is really to become a global leader in the space and help the innovation ecosystem. Bragging a little bit, we heard Yokoi before, right? They raised 80 million with Sequoia, but also others like Keyrock, or maybe here we know Vester or Stapleton, many of you might be familiar, raising significant rounds. What we are doing is really focus with the corporate partners on 3 things. Like learn, which is normally very early stage startup. This is actually something we would categorize under the learning bucket. So what is happening in the future, bringing in inspiration, then collaboration. How can we make collaboration with the startups happen and the big corporates? And the third part is investment. And we have already heard it. UBS Next invested also in the early stage fintech fund, the Tenity Incubation fund, here very much on the right. I don't want to go into too much details, but we have closed. The first closing has happened in March, and we already invested in 16 companies so far. And if you're interested and qualified investor, reach out to the team or speak to me. Nothing of this would be possible without our corporate partners. Right? And I want to do a big shout out and a big thanks to UBS and SIX, who are global strategic partners and support us in massive ways. And now, without further ado, or actually with one further ado, I want to leave you with 3 things maybe, right? And my goal for tonight for you is, number 1, that you leave inspired, that you find something, hopefully, that you can either use in your job or use in your private lives as well, that you take away and think, this maybe has come from the Tenity today. Number 2 is really connect. Talk to the people, maybe to the left, to the right. If you don't know each other, take a break in between when we have one, I don't think, but maybe at the end to say hi and have a talk. And number 3, help us celebrate. It's a big one, it's number 10. And with this, enough from me, over to you, Joelle.
Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you. We're just gonna put them over here. Perfect. So no, there will not be a break. Please do not just walk out in the middle of this event. There will be enough time at the end to socialize, of course. I'm also just super briefly going to talk to you about how we got here, what made the startups come here in the first place. So our 7 startups of tonight, they're part of the incubation program here at Tenity that's specifically for early stage startups. It's a 4-month program where they go through, endure 4 weeks of masterclass, so 1 week per month. They're here in Zurich in person and getting coached by our incredible team, but also, of course, by external experts. Yeah, I already covered this, of course. Here we have the program structure. I'm just going to high-level touch upon it since we're a bit behind. We're in Switzerland. We love our pillars. Our program is based on 4 pillars. First of all, the startups start with the foundation because that's how ideally you start. The first masterclass is all around ideation, problem solution fit, and validation. Then the second pillar is product and business plan development and fundraising. The third part is then all around growth, so they learn about sales and marketing strategies. And the last one, which is why we are here today as well, is the final week, the demo day week. It's about investor relations, it's about HR, diversity is a huge topic, and of course, demo day. Next up, I would like to express a very, very warm thank you to our one-on-one mentors who have accompanied our startups during these 4 months now. They're dedicating their time and passion to our entrepreneurs, and I think maybe this would be the moment to quickly have a short applause for our one-on-one mentors. Also, if this is something you're interested in, find me after the event and happy to talk. Of course, we work hard. We also play hard, not all the time, but sometimes, you know, we need to have a bit of fun. Here you have a few impressions from our program. You see them in the arena at our Tenity office during a session, but then also, of course, during outings and team building exercises, which we do to really make the batch grow together as a little family, as a little class. Great. Next up, my favorite part. I don't know if I've mentioned it before. We are at the part where we're introducing our sharks. So the Shark Tank format, I'm sure you're familiar with it. Maybe you know it as a dragon's den, as a lion's den. We're going to call it the Shark Tank because I feel like that sounds the coolest. As mentioned, we have 4 sharks. 5 minutes after each pitch, they have to ask questions, no more. About the startup. They will evaluate the startups at the very end based on 3 criteria, which are innovation and disruptive potential, market opportunity and scalability, and execution and team. So these are the criteria they will evaluate the startups on. And after a little bit of time to deliberate who's going to win at the end of the pitches, they will then, of course, announce the winner of the Shark Tank. It's at this point, I also need to mention that this is not an investment guarantee like during a regular Shark Tank format. This is really just kind of like a Shark Tank winner, and because I love a good competition, I feel like this gives the startups like the extra kick for demo day because they're not nervous at all otherwise, so we have to make it interesting. Okay, very good. So now to the second stars of tonight. We have Thomas Dübendorfer, president and founder of SIGTIC. I'm sure most of you know him already. Next up, we have Yin Yan, senior investor at UBS Next. Also former colleague, she used to work for us before. So I'm very happy to welcome her back, this time on the other side of the stage. Next up, we have Chris Bialkowski, managing partner of TX Ventures. And last but not in any way least, Gianretto Apporta, Business Angel of the Year 2022. Great. So then I think we will jump right in with what you all came here for. We have 7 excellent startups lined up for you. which will pitch one after the other. You find a QR code here. This is not for the voting. This is for their one-pagers, in case you want to know a bit more after or during the event. Maybe not during, you know, they need your attention. But after the event, and also if you want to contact them later on, you will find their details there. Great. Then I am very excited to introduce our very own gym bros from Fume. We have Rick and Mark here on stage. Here you go.
Check. Thank you, Joel. Good afternoon, everyone. A couple of years ago, I created my own hedge fund focused on digital assets in Luxembourg. And let me tell you, it was a total mess. The money had to flow from our investors' bank account to our fund bank account to our exchange bank account where we could buy our assets, but then to extract the fees or to exit the funds, all those steps in reverse. So many intermediaries. They generate a lot of inefficiency. They are costly. They are time-consuming, but not only. Because back in November, we learned that counterparty risk is also a pretty big deal. Basically, we woke up one day and all our money on FTX was gone. So we can do much better than this. This is how we expect an efficient investment fund to work, where the money flows directly from the investor to the fund. That's it, no intermediaries. And all the administration, subscription, redemption, NAV calculation, fees extraction is automatically computed on-chain. And this is what we're building at Fume. We simplify and automate the fund administration with smart contracts. It's a tool for fund manager. They can invest in any asset class, not just digital assets. They can operate without intermediaries and provide transparency to investors and financial regulators. As for our business model, it's pretty straightforward. We get a 5% commission on the fund's fees. It's a pay-as-you-earn model. Therefore, we are on a mission to create the new generation of investment funds. Why are we doing this now? Well, beside the increasing regulatory clarity around digital assets, later this year, FINMA is going to release a new regulation that is going to allow us to operate an investment funds without intermediaries, even here in Switzerland. About us, well, I have both a technical and financial background. I started multiple companies in the blockchain space, most recently this crypto hedge fund in Luxembourg. So the pain that I experienced in this industry is what led me to the creation of Fume. Whereas for my gym buddy and co-founder, Mark.
Hey there. So Rick over there is the investment fund guy. I'm the crypto guy. I am an ex-IT consultant with more than 10 years of experience in development, and I have led a couple of technical teams. For the rest of the team, we also have Rafael for the legal side, and Pablo helps us for everything regarding software development and recruiting. With the help of our great partners who provided funding, expertise, and academical research, we have, over the last few months, developed our MVP, went through this FinTech accelerator, signed our first client, and started a pilot testing phase with them. We are planning on a full launch for the end of the year. And in order to do that, we are raising 650K. This will allow us to take our current product to a full-featured platform, including its launch, upscaling operations, and capturing a bigger market segment. These points are only the next step towards our vision, a financial system without intermediaries. Discover this new world by coming to our table. Thank you.
So sharks.
Thomas, please.
Thanks for presenting. Great pitch. So you basically automate everything, but you're not a fund. You're just a tool for fund managers, right?
That's exactly right.
And given there's no intermediaries, there's no counterparty. Now, if something goes wrong, who's liable?
Well, it depends what you mean by something go wrong, of course.
The money doesn't end up where it should. It was a bug in a smart contract, for example.
Yeah, and that's the cool part about smart contracts. Those are auditable. You can test them before, and since it's code, it's not that they can get lost somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
but still, money can end up somewhere else. Like where it should have been invested, it gets invested somewhere else because there was a bug in the contract. So who's liable?
No. They can't go somewhere else. So it's a peer-to-peer transaction when an investor comes, send the money from their wallets to the wallet of the investor, of the investment fund. So,
Okay, so you have no mistakes in your software.
yeah, of course, no mistakes allowed here for sure.
I mean, if you're referring to other mistakes in the crypto industry, those are like bad actors. It's more on the human side than on the code side, right? So,
Okay, thanks.
Please.
Great pitch,
Thanks.
dynamic, I like it. One question, how do you offer non-crypto assets without counterparty risk?
Non-crypto assets.
You said you can offer all assets on your platform without intermediary. How does that work? I get it for crypto assets, I don't get it for the rest.
Yes, so we are going to start with crypto assets, of course, because we can have on-chain directly subscription, and also the assets of the investment fund. The fund can receive a subscription on-chain, they can invest not necessarily on-chain, but if the assets are on-chain, you can have directly proof of reserves. If you want to invest something off-chain, well, you need to trust the fund manager. So there is this part here. So,
okay, thank you.
Different level of trust, So it's manually reported in there.
So what is your go-to-market strategy? How are you acquiring customers?
Yeah, so as he said before, our initial focus is going to be alternative investment funds, especially starting with crypto hedge funds. So we start with that, and then we can expand towards the rest of the market as well.
Yeah, we believe that digital asset fund managers are the ones that are most familiar with this technology, so they're most likely to use it. Yeah. Please.
So the question is, you mentioned the regulation in Switzerland. How about the regulation outside of Switzerland?
So yeah, we are going to start with our pilot project in Luxembourg, actually, where my crypto hedge fund is currently registered. And we are, let's say, regulation agnostic. We provide the software for our fund manager, but the investment funds can be registered in multiple jurisdictions. So our funds are regulated, we are not regulated. So we never touch the investment funds and so on. The fund manager and the fund itself can be registered, regulated, either in Switzerland or Luxembourg and so on.
Great. Yeah.
I have one more if we have time.
Of course.
Like, I get it with the crypto natives, but like when it comes to the rest of the world, how would you motivate them to work with you? But because for them it's probably even a bigger pain that you showed in the beginning, because they don't know this whole crypto world.
Right. So to your question, at the beginning, so there are multiple levels of features that we can provide. One are, for instance, the transparency. We can put on chain directly the shareholder registrar, so we can keep it directly there, or show the fund's activity, even if the operation happens off chain. I mean, if you trade stocks, of course, the stocks are not on chain, but you can give the transparency on the fee structure and everything directly on chain to the investors. In the future, things are also going to change. When we're going to have CBDC, well, then you can see that the bank's role might change. So we have this feature and also in the future for CBDC. Yeah.
And also we are betting on the fact that more and more different stuff are going to become tokenized. So we are not doing it because we are a lot of smart people are doing it, but in the end, in a few years, we're going to have tokenized stocks, tokenized bonds, tokenized everything. And then if you have tokenized things, then you can have a fund on chain. Makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Thank you.
One last question. Yes, please.
Okay, so
Chris?
last question. What is required to set it up?
To set up an investment fund?
I mean, to set up your solution so that we can use it to set up the investment fund.
So there are two ways to set up an investment fund. Either you are not a regulated fund manager, so you simply come as an advisor and we set up your investment fund inside an existing legal structure. Currently we have one in Luxembourg. Otherwise, if you already have or you are licensed, you can deploy a new investment funds under your name. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You can. Thank you very much, Fume, and the Sharks as well. We will jump right into the second pitch of the night, where we have Damien from Dema Trading.
When I went to buy my first digital asset, it was really overwhelming. I sign up on an exchange just to get confronted with hundreds of different options. And I was wondering, why isn't there an option like the S&P 500 that automatically invests in the whole market for me? I'm Damien, we are Dema Trading, and we built the infrastructure for digital asset portfolios to solve exactly that problem. Currently, digital asset providers miss up to 90% of their revenue simply because most investors buy and hold assets, and at the same time, these providers struggle to implement products that increase and stabilize this revenue for them. This problem is only going to get worse over the years because according to Bloomberg, the market is going to grow exponentially over the next couple of years. Our managed portfolio solution helps these digital asset providers to realize a higher recurring revenue. We do that by integrating directly on the platform so that the end user or investor can directly invest in these managed portfolios, never to look at their portfolio again, and everything is taken care of. And this is what it looks like for one of our customers. Very easily, you can click the Buy Now button, choose the amount that you want to invest, and the whole portfolio is automatically taken care of for you, and you are invested in the top 50 assets of the market. If we compare the buy and hold versus the managed portfolios that we offer, you will see that the transactional volume is not once but recurring. The end user is a lot better protected because typically they don't spread in as many assets as our portfolios would do for them. And the average end profit on a mid to long term is typically higher because the average index outperforms the market on a longer term. If we look at the revenue for these exchanges, you will see that the transactional volume is increased by a factor of 5.3 on average on a yearly basis. The activation rate or conversion rate is higher, and the average deposit is expected to be higher as well, meaning that the same marketing budget would not produce 400 in revenue, but more than 4,000 in revenue for this digital asset provider. We already have partnerships with market factor indices acquired by VanEck, one of the biggest digital asset providers indexes in the market, and we are backed by angels from trading firms, regulatory firms, banks, and big tech. We are currently preparing to further develop our trading engine and develop a market-neutral solution for the market. After that, we want to enter the institutional market because our infrastructure can also be used for ETFs and ETPs. And after that, we want to become one of the top 3 biggest players in the digital asset market in 2028. So I'm Damien, my co-founder Marijn is here as well, and we have a big network of investors and advisors with expertise in a lot of different areas that are able to help us out. We are raising 1 million, and with that we want to hire 7 people, develop the trading engine and the market neutral portfolio, and prepare for the next scale-up phase. So join us on our mission and come talk to us later. Any questions?
Thanks for the pitch. I like it. Like first question, I would give you back your first question that you asked. Why doesn't this exist already?
That's a good question. We haven't found a provider that does exactly the solution. There's a couple of different alternatives. So, for example, there are platforms that do this in a B2C solution, but you would still need to sign up to another platform, to an exchange, connect them through API keys, and it's a lot of hassle. Yeah. So we wanted to do this in a way that is harder to implement because we need to make deals with these exchanges, but ultimately it's all about the customer experience, and you should be able to make an account, click a portfolio, click buy now, and just be done. I think ultimately there's also going to be ETFs, for example, but still a lot of people sign up to an exchange, and yeah, I don't know why others aren't doing it.
But like an exchange itself, like Coinbase, for them it would be quite easy to offer something like that, right?
Yeah, so bigger exchanges, I mean, they can ultimately build a product. So one of the things that we are developing is a whole trading engine around this system. So the buying and selling of assets is backed by a whole machine learning backed trading engine that, while buying and selling the assets, helps you to optimize liquidity, which ultimately makes it easier to buy and sell assets on the exchange as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so you're not an ETF, you're basically a robo investor machine, to say so. So it has a certain strategy, but you don't have a legal structure. You just execute and rebalance the portfolio whenever it's necessary. And for that, you connect to these exchanges, correct? Now, your secret sauce is to find the best trade on a different exchange, or where exactly is your cutting-edge advantage over just normal execution of trades?
Yeah, so the trading engine is the biggest USP, and that we make it a plug-and-play solution almost for these exchanges. So they don't have to develop the solution, they don't have to maintain it. I want to be a bit careful about saying that we have a robo-advisor, because typically that suggests that you develop a trading system that times when to buy and sell in the market. That's not what we do, but we basically build what the customer wants. So they decide on the allocation calculation that they want and what kind of assets they want in there.
Maybe you can tell us what the state is of your product, because you said you need the money to develop the execution of the trades. So what can you already do, and what is the next step?
So the example that I showed in the middle of the presentation, that's actually our launching customer. So that solution is already up and running, and they are launching it this month. We are already talking to 3 other small exchanges, and we're currently one of them in the signing process, 2 others are closing. So the MVP of the product is live already, but in order to make this a real scalable and interesting product for the bigger exchanges, we need to further develop it.
So in your market is just selling it to exchanges. So once you have covered the biggest ones, basically, there's no more other customers.
Actually, we're starting with the smaller ones, because for them it's a lot harder to build a very sophisticated product. And the exchanges is just a go-to-market strategy. So that's basically to cover seed to Series A. And after that, we can offer the same infrastructure to ETF, ETP providers, for example. And they can use our infrastructure to get a better price execution for all the assets that they buy.
I see how your solution is good for an exchange if they don't want to build it themselves. Is it also good for the client? Like your logic of buying the top 50 basket in the normal world, I get it. Is it also a good strategy in the crypto world if you backtest it?
Yeah, if you look at research, which is also done in the crypto market, if you're interested, you can look, for example, at the research from Shrimpy. You see that actually portfolios rebalancing crypto outperform just a buy and hold strategy as well. And actually, because the crypto market is so fastly moving, the rebalance frequency is a lot faster than in the traditional market. So the traditional market typically has like a quarterly rebalance, for example. In crypto or digital assets, you typically go for example, for bi-weekly, and the outperformance is almost always there. In terms of profit, it's definitely there if you calculate the risk as well.
Interesting.
We have one more.
Okay, so in the current light of SEC going after altcoins, going after Binance, unlisting them, what does that mean for your business and the market environment you're in?
I think ultimately it's a good thing, because we want to support adoption of the market and them updating the assets. I mean, it's just the same as in the traditional market. Some companies get listed, some companies get delisted, and we just update the amount of assets that are in there, and our infrastructure takes care of new assets that are getting listed and assets that are getting out. So I think ultimately the market moving forward is always a good thing.
Thanks.
Thank you, Damien. That was your time. Thanks so much. I especially like the part about you don't have to look at it anymore and everything is taken care of. I feel like I don't only need that for my crypto portfolio, but also for life. So in case any of you guys wants to build that, let me know. Next up, we have our only female-founded team here on stage with Jude and Olga, Smart Purse. You need two. Here you go.
Thanks.
Ah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Olga. I'm a woman from finance with a long history in this building, and I know a lot about money.
And I'm Jude. I've worked in 45 countries looking at how to build projects that change women's lives, and I think we make a good match. So what's Smart Purse? We're a unique financial fitness platform that looks to change people, but particularly women's attitude to their own money. And with that in mind, we're going to introduce you to a third person, Chloe.
Chloe is a very real person. She's 36, works at a marketing agency and expecting her first child. She knows that she's going to return to work part-time and has absolutely no clue what this will do to her financial future, but she also doesn't know where to go and learn. In fact, 7 out of 10 women delegate financial planning responsibilities to their partners because they don't know how to get started with it.
Now, you probably all know Chloe's sisters, cousins, friends, colleagues, daughters, and so you know how financially vulnerable that leaves Chloe's. But look, Chloe's are engaging with SmartPurse. And why is that? Why is SmartPurse unique so that Chloe's, who were indifferent before, actually get excited because of SmartPurse? It's because we source all our material, all our content from a huge community of people around the globe who tell us what they want to learn and how they want to learn it. And so as a result, what is happening in SmartPurse is this. We are helping Chloe's, first of all, learn about money. Secondly, Chloe is planning her money. But this is the most exciting thing. Chloe's are now investing their money, and 72% of all of the people who come with not a clue actually end up becoming investors. That's a fantastic result, we think.
We distribute our financial education and planning features through corporates and through financial services companies providing financial education as a service. And since we launched SmartPurse, we see great traction. You see here how our B2B and financial services partner network is growing. How do we make money on this ourselves? Well, we take license fees for our financial education tools, be it our chatbot, our metaverse, our app, our web platform, and we take auto-renewable subscriptions and course fees from the end users.
Okay, and this is why it's so exciting, because you can see, look, 9,400 corporates in this country, in the UK alone, and these are corporates with have over 250 employees and up. So imagine that scaled globally. Imagine what a difference that would make to the financial markets and to the sense of agency about the people, and particularly women, that have got involved in SmartPurse.
We have great plans, growing this solution, being live in Switzerland and in the UK in 2 languages already. We strive to become the world's leading financial education center of excellence.
Yeah, we're not a cottage industry. We want to be global. This is our team, already global. They're as committed to as we are to changing the nature of the world through changing the nature of financial involvement.
And in order to accelerate, we are raising our current round 800,000, of which 650,000 is already committed, and we would very much love all of you to be part of the story.
We think that you will want your money to make a better world, to make a more sustainable world, and therefore we think you'll want to invest in us, and we also think you'll find us great fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Great pitch and very dynamic and a lot of energy. My question is, this is all about customer acquisition. So, what is your approach to the customer acquisition? And maybe even you can share with us what is really the customer acquisition cost. How does it relate into customer lifetime value? And give us a little bit of flavor on that. Thank you.
Absolutely, with pleasure. So we have twofold customer acquisition strategy, main customers being corporates and financial services, which are usually the easier ones to get because the pitch to the corporates is financial education helps you to differentiate yourself and attract talent. 8 out of 10 young people are looking to their corporate to be financially educated. It helps to reduce costs because there is a lot of mentally related sick days, people worrying about money. Financial services naturally comes to us because doing financial education is so hard and it's very costly, and we already have a bank of content and great tools. So that's an easy pitch. On the B2C side, which we look at as our R&D lab, basically, we acquire the customers through word of mouth. 9 out of 10 people that experienced our education refer us further. And when we advertise, we calculated we have approximately on the B2C side customer acquisition cost of 18 francs per paying customer, lifetime value roughly 500 francs.
So I saw that you have geographic expansion plans, really exciting. So how do you make sure that the content you have is localized and is adapted to the local context?
Well, it's partly because we source our material in terms of what questions, what issues, etc., from huge groups of women that we do with think-ins with around the world. So, for example, thinking about expanding into India, some of the problems are exactly the same as they would be in any part of the world, and some of them are very particular to marital setups or family businesses, etc. So we think that we will be scaling both on the things that are common to all women and all people, and then using local education, really, through local groups to tell us what specific content we will need. I mean, we're also thinking about how we franchise into the markets with different groups of women like ourselves who would want to drive this financial education forward at a local level.
Our core bank of content has been built with global expansion in mind, so the architecture behind us is built for replicability. We know that roughly 60% of the content is translatable and replicable. 40%, such as pension funds or certain different local specificities, then have to be added to the solution. And the way our system is set up, that we can add this very effortlessly. That's also why when the corona pandemic hit and we had to pivot from the UK into Switzerland, developing a fully German solution, it has taken us 7 weeks.
I really like the topic that you're in, financial fitness. It's totally neglected in normal schools. Also, it's a topic also for kids. I just read a book called Raising Financially Fit Kids that teaches the 10 money skills. And it's really amazing how little people know about what money really means and what they should do or what they shouldn't do. Now, your part is educational to a large degree. But on top of that, you add service offerings. Isn't that a problem? Because when you educate them, only have very few offerings. In the end, you want to make money. Then you tell them that the 2 offerings you have are the best ones, and they cannot pick from all of them, right? Isn't there a little conflict of interest with that approach?
No, we don't think so, because one of the reasons why people do trust us is because we're not a bank or a financial institution, so they do see our education as being independent, which it is. But we also are training financial advisors into how to talk to people in a different kind of way, and then we're creating a matchmaking service. But we are not ourselves giving financial advice. That's really very clear.
And if you allude to the fact, who do we put on the platform and how do we ensure neutrality? Part is feedback from the audience, so the providers will go through a subject of rating and voting. And the second one is we also add providers if we do not earn on them getting clients through us, just because we like their solution and because they are really great. So far, this hasn't been an issue because many people are very confused by what the financial services landscape has to offer. 6 out of 10 women have said, I actually don't understand what these different tools do, nor would I understand why they are good for us. So us providing kind of a matchmaking service is very much welcome. It has never been seen as a thing of, you only want to earn on the back of my money. Because we don't own the products, we only own the connectivity.
Thank you.
I loved the pitch, great storytelling. Cool. My question is around the mode. So let's say you're really successful. What hinders your competitor to just to copy your content and offer it to the corporates for half the price?
Well, we think that, first of all, what we have that is unique, I referred earlier to the 45 countries that I already work in. We actually have communities all over the world who are interested in helping smart birds carry on building, and that's not easy to replicate. And then secondly, I think that the particular method of talking to women in particular ways, as opposed to selling them things, comes from the personalities of all the different kinds of women that we've set up to be leaders and sub-leaders and agents for Smart Purse. So it's a very, very personal, massive network. And that's critical because women, in the main, don't trust anonymity. They want community. And you have to be completely dedicated to create community because it's not easy.
And to add to that, technology. We started with a linear learning solution. Now we have enough data to provide predictive learning paths, to personalize this further, to add incentives to the solution. We are experimenting with AI. How could we provide fully personalized learning? How could we get people into getting hooked to kind of our app by adding incentives? And that is then, I think, where through the intelligence of everybody learning with it, it becomes very hard to replicate.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
I love how we train them on 3-minute pitches, and then every time we come to demo day, they just screw me over. And like, I think we should start training them on 2 minutes, and then maybe we'll make it to 3 by the end of the program. Great. So next up, we have... Now I have to concentrate so I don't say it the wrong way around. On stage, we have Trenton from Frenton.
Hello. Yes, and to hear that story, you're going to have to come and talk to me afterwards, okay? It's a funny one. So I need to get to some slides. Okay. So we're from Frenton, and we automate financial administration for SMEs in Germany so they can focus on their business and not on their finances. For those of you out there that have done your company taxes, it's not a lot of fun, and it's quite painful, isn't it? So the average German SME is estimated to spend, on average, 62,000 euros and 110 days implementing this particular process. And we aim to save them 50% by innovating through the money chain. Now, this is what we call the money chain, and the best way to describe it, I think, is with an example. And so we're going to use your next business trip to Munich, for example. You need to book a hotel. You do that online, and we capture that information using banking protocols. You will give the provider your Frenton email account, and we will get the receipt instantaneously, strip it off the email, and then store it, as well as using our proprietary AI, match it to that first banking data. And then we have your ledger, at which point in time we can get organized and get to your planning and budgeting, so your controlling, as well as your P&L and your reporting documents. Most importantly though, what we do is pay your taxes. So we take that information with a secondary proprietary AI system and we match it to the tax codes of the particular country and then provide it to one of our collaborating accountants. What that means is we can do that for every transaction and we can pay your taxes and you no need to feel the pain of your paperwork. Our competitors haven't really figured this out yet. So they still exist in the last century in terms of how the professional services exist. And we find customer value is really going end to end in terms of the money chain. So from all the way from banking through to paying your tax. And it's live. So this is us. This is what you get when you log in straight away. And it's designed to be relatively intuitive so that the entrepreneur can approach it without being having too much financial knowledge. Boy, do we have the right team for the job. So we're very experienced. We have more than 10 years experience each. There's myself on the finance side. Joseph over here will join us in a minute on the innovation management. And over here, Alex, technical development, and Bjorn is our German banking specialist. How do I know we have the right team? It works. Okay, so we're revenue positive since Christmas. We've got 20% month-on-month growth, and we have more than 150 companies vetting us. We're looking to step out into bigger ticket items, so we're looking at later stage in established tech, software companies, as well as e-commerce companies coming forward. We're raising a minimum of 750 to boost our scaling effort, so we're going to launch version 2.0, and then build a strong sales team and drive inbound marketing to the site. So join us if you'd like to help make life easier for SMEs so they can make global impact and we can deal with the money chain stuff. I'll bring Joseph out if that's okay. Thank you. Shoot.
Happy to shoot. So how scalable it is? How much of it is automated? How much of it is manual? Is it fully automated, 100%, or because SMEs seem to be complicated from many edge cases?
Yeah.
So Yeah, tell us more.
That one.
I'll let you take over.
From the product side, it's fully automated. So of course there are quality checks in that. So, but we can fully automate everything from paying with a credit card, so to say, to paying your tax. But in the end, in the very end, at least in Germany and most European countries, there's the mandated tax consultancy that approves that process and maybe even change something if you have done that wrong. So that part is still a person, if you like to pay that person, of course. Yeah. We can do it directly, but only, I would say, very early stage companies sometimes do it fully automated. But the end of year reports, of course, are still done by a mandated tax consultancy usually. So we've not experienced, and otherwise in these 150 customers, there's not one in there who does not take a tax consultancy for the end.
There were like 3.
Yeah. We'll go left or right. My apologies.
Yeah, so that, that slide with the competitive landscape looks very crowded.
Yeah.
So what would you say is your sort of secret sauce?
Our secret sauce.
Yeah.
Go for it.
No. Yeah.
So I'd say that it's a combination. So particularly with the crowded market, it's a big market, as you all know. It's enormous. But they're all stuck in their silos. And so going across really gives the customer the value rather than the accountant the value. And so that's one part of it. So integrating the entire chain and then paying the tax. Nobody does that.
The unique is the last part. There's tax software in this last silo, so to say, but integrating from the bank to tax is really rarely in the world and in Germany particularly. And then doing that tax part automatically for the entrepreneur, that's one of the biggest pain actually, because he has to always hire this tax consultant to do that, give him the paper, asking questions on the phone, what is this ledger, why doesn't it fit to my finance plan and I have in Excel plan. So this is the big part we automate, and that's the differentiation on the product side. Yeah.
So you have a lot of different functionality, right? You take the transactions from the bank, then you do accounting, bookkeeping. I guess you also do payroll and expense management, most likely, because you have to, otherwise it's not a comprehensive all-in-one solution, and then you do the tax filing. Now, let's talk about the bookkeeping part. If you get an expense, how do you know how to classify to correctly book it?
Okay, a product again. So we read via OCR, or those text recognition, the receipt. So there's the tax on it, there's the issue on it, what it's for, and you have the counterpart on it. Mainly, there's more information. We read all that, train our machine learning, but you have also the transactions. So you might recognize this is also a similar value you have on the transaction side. So you can combine all this information from the transaction as well as from the receipt, and then book it to the right account. And there we have, with the machine learning, we have really, really good results on booking on the, so to say, right, we say category, because that's the wording from entrepreneurs. Actually, it would be the account you book it on. And they can even train it. So if it was wrong one time, next time it will be correct if they train it.
So you say the customer trains the system in the end, basically?
No.
No, it's automated.
The customer has to see whether it's correct or not, and then he can reclassify?
We would say no. We would say the accountant would do the checking at the end. The customer doesn't touch it if they don't want to. And we have some of those.
So the SME still needs an external accountant then? Your tool just automates part of it.
So
your tool is fully automatic, but you need the experts outsourced, which look at it like you still need the tax advisor, still need the accountant. So you can get rid of that, and you can save the 65K that you mentioned.
I'd say we have these cases too, but the bigger one is that, for example, you have marketing costs. And you can book that to online marketing, you can book it specifically to Google AdWords. It's rather the entrepreneur that says, I want to have this booked to Google AdWords because it's in my financial planning. The accountant says, okay, it's marketing. Yeah, it's in for the tax authorities, it's marketing. So rather we have this case that the entrepreneur wants to have his financial planning, cash planning, and also P&L planning included, and then have this level of category where I can say, okay, it's Google AdWords, and I don't care about the rest.
Okay.
Sorry, last but not least. Go.
Yeah, perfect. It also adds up to what the previous questions were. Because my question is like, would you agree that like in order to do the taxes, you need to do bookkeeping and expenses, right? Also.
Yeah.
So that's also part of your offering.
Yeah, exactly. The first steps in this money chain is the cash, so the bank, all the transactions, and then the bookkeeping. So we have these main product features are getting the banking connections into categories, then read the receipts, get them to the same categories and match them. And this is what we have done. Now you can see it live in the product already.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're able to do all these three things better than all the ones focusing on just one, then it's an amazing product.
It's the integration, yeah.
Please come and see us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take this. Great. Yeah. Trenton just said it again. Don't forget that after all the pitches during the networking and apero, you will have the time to talk to the startups again. They have their tables downstairs on the first floor, where there is also the buffet, and there you can find them individually. Good. Then we come to our next startup. We have Dry Vada with us, with Fred and Thomas on stage.
Hello. Does it work?
1, 2.
Hello, everyone. I'm Thomas. This is Fred. We are the co-founders of Drivada. Let me share 3 numbers with you. First, road accidents. They injure 50 million people every single year. Second number, mobility. Mobility contributes to 1/4 of global gas emissions. And the last number, the most important one, the human factor is responsible for 95% of all these outcomes. And this is the opportunity we found to build an AI-powered platform that has the potential to solve these issues on the large scale, combining education, awareness, and improved driving behavior.
So after all these bad news, we have good news. The solution is working. It's live. It's in production. We have clients already. And it's composed of 3 things, 3 main things. Number 1, smartphone. The smartphone is an incredible tool and very, very reliable and universal. Everybody has one, right? To collect data at scale, massive data we can capture with that. Then after that, of course, it puts into the data hub that we have, and it's analyzed. And then the machine learning model comes into play. It's live. We are lowering fleet costs right now, reducing road risks, and hopefully one day building smart cities with partners. In a nutshell, our technology are data collection, GPS, sensors from smartphone, coming into the cloud. This is not enough. We need vehicle characteristics. We have that. We need also information such as contextual information, weather, road type, all this type of thing. Every time we add a layer of data, we check for data quality. This is important. We are in big data as well, right? So data quality is important because this is how we're going to build, and we are building, it's live, the scoring engine, okay? The scoring engine is what is important for the user. The user is, we are analyzing their weak points, how we are going to make them better drivers, right? And eco-drivers as well, by the way, and also analyzing their good points to reinforce. So it's a very highly motivating tool. And then for the companies, our direct clients are the companies, obviously. So we have run millions of trips already for these companies, and just three important things that we found out. Veolia, well, they asked us to analyze, to audit the access for the garbage trucks to the dump sites. They had some problems. And so we saw that, we gave them back the audit, and they changed accesses to some dump sites in France and signage as well. Daher, even more interesting, Daher, they hired us because they were ISO certification, 1501, I don't remember. But anyway, we gave them the data to be certified. And more than that, our data, our recommendations are now in the employee handbook of Daher. And SNEF is a great case because basically they hired us to lower the fuel consumption and CO2 emission, which is a big CSR issue for them. And we saved them, first 3 months, 6,000 liters of fuel saved because they increase and they are better eco-drivers. And to you.
So we launched our platform 9 months ago. We have contracts around 300K. We have been labeled positive impact startup as a French government. We are raising to accelerate our development and make 1 million revenues in the next 12 months. We are a team of experts in mobility, AI, and transport, and we believe in our ability to execute on the mission. Today, we are looking for investors and partners who want to join us on this powerful journey, inspiring everyone to save their lives and save the planet. Thank you. Yes, please.
Sounds like a great product. So you tell people how to become better drivers, have less accidents.
I'm the product guy, thank you.
Perfect. Now, how can you make this product sticky? Because people use it maybe for half a year or a year, they learn a lot, and then they think they know it all, then they discontinue to use it, or you optimize the road to whatever Veolia's garbage dumpster, and then it's done, right? So how do you make them long-term users?
Very easy. You just forget about it. So you don't need to launch the application. So it works in background. So it automatically detects the start of a trip, and it analyzes everything. It just receives some information if your trip is not aligned with what you used to be. So if you're a good driver, you just don't receive any notification. If something is wrong, you receive once.
Yeah, that's right, but the learning curve at the beginning is the highest, and then why would you pay 60 Swiss francs a year for continuous not learning much more anymore?
So it depends on, maybe you could talk about corporations, right? Why they use the application.
Yeah, so right now we're using corporations because they have CSR policies, they have HR policies, QHS policies, and they need that tool to update the policy, and it's become almost like incorporated in what they are doing on a monthly basis. So yes, we have clients who took us, and then after that they say, thank you, goodbye. And we have clients, they see that they can save a lot with us. And clients who are coming because there was a big problem, there was an accident, someone lost their lives, and it's a trauma for an organization. And then we come in, and then everybody is really like up and going to do that with us. So attrition is an issue, yes, absolutely. But more and more the quality of the education, we're transforming driver education basically. And they will see that even if you're a new driver, that's a big market for us, or even if you're a seasoned driver or you think you are,
Yes.
A question about like the forgetting. I like that concept, but how does it work? So is your app always tracking my location at all times to know when I'm starting a trip?
I can answer that one.
Please.
So we are GDPR compliant by design, meaning that everything in the tool is there to anonymize or pseudonymize your information, your trips. We also have a filter, so you tell us, well, okay, you can take my trips, analyze them Monday from 8 to 7, never the weekends, and so forth and so on. So we make sure that we only take what you want us to take.
It's about like data privacy, but also about the battery of my phone, right?
I think we're less. I mean, I think we benchmark that. Yeah. I think we're way lower than TikTok. because we only work when you're driving.
But how do you know when I'm driving? You have to...
Well, we analyze the sensor, tell us, and the GPS, after 4 minutes, we know, wow, okay, you're driving.
Okay.
So the app is not very consuming, like we use a lot of cloud computing. So we send that on the cloud. All the computing is done in the cloud. So it's not very consuming in terms of battery for the smartphone.
Cool.
So how do you know that I'm driving and not driving with somebody else?
So that's a tough nut to crack. So we are organizing, to crack this nut, we're organizing challenges. And so companies, they love that, right? It's a way to introduce the tool as well. To say, okay, for 3 months, we're going to go an eco-driving challenge. And inside the declarative statement of the challenge, it said, you shouldn't have your mother driving instead of you to get a score and everything. So we have that, okay? And we're building machine learning model to say that, wait a minute, this is not how you're driving. It's been 1 month that we have data on how you drive, and all of a sudden there's an outlier, there's an aberration. And this is how we can best estimate that it's not you driving, or you're not driving that car that you registered with us.
like which driving issues can you detect and which ones? Like if I would run over every red light in Zurich, would you see that somehow?
If there's traffic, we would see it. Asking for a friend.
He drives the bike.
It's another product question, so I have to ask. Yes, in traffic, yes, absolutely, we'll see that. We'll see the acceleration, the deceleration, and everything in the traffic. We will match that with the type of road, obviously, right? And at night, we would see it as well after a while. Not the first day. If you do that the first day, we would think it's normal that you do that all the time, but after a while, we will understand how you behave, and we could see that, yes.
Great. Yay, thank you so much. Thank you. Honestly, they had me at driver education. I am really sorry for all the great female drivers out there, but I do confirm the stereotype. So, can we? Thank you. Great, so we're coming to the second to last pitch of the night. I hope you're still energized. Don't forget that you will have to vote in a bit. So we're getting there, next one on stage, we have Rory from Lumios. Perfect.
Testing. Hello, good evening. My name's Rory Fleming, and I'm co-founder and CEO of Lumios, Human in the Loop AI. We're transforming research narrative into data-driven insights with human reasoning capability. This will give decision makers time advantage in identifying new market trends and also looking at changes in existing ones. We're also collecting feedback from among an organization, among the analysts and researchers, to collect a consensus rate. This will provide us with actionable insights to drive investment outcomes. The key problem banks, asset managers, and hedge funds face is that they spend a lot of money on research, but up to 90% of it is not known or read. It's lost in emails, in Bloomberg chats, and siloed within teams. And research is often outdated by new news. So, decision makers employ differing investment strategies. Sometimes these can be poor or contrary to one another. C-suite, regulators, and shareholders want to understand why. So our solution is we take their research, like this extract here, and we synthesize it with natural language processing models. Thought leaders' content populate our knowledge graph, and we can consume a huge amount of documents all at once. This can change our knowledge graph day by day. We call this the God view. Then we want to introduce humans into the loop. Analysts, researchers, or oracles, as we call them, update this graph. They impose their own views, and the solution reaches a consensus. This gives us active Bayesian statistical models. This surfaces investment opportunities. In terms of portfolio optimization, what we're looking for is scenarios which are low probability and high impact. If we can identify these early, we can, and before they become actualized, this is alpha opportunities. In terms of traction, we've engaged with C-suite very early on, and we're pushing them through our sales pipeline. We're going through a product evaluation right now with legal and general investment managers. We're collaborating with more capital, and we're speaking to C-suite among very top tier banks, asset managers. Our business model is simple. We're a SaaS platform. We have a per user licensing fee and a platform licensing fee. Our client profile are affluent, they're hungry for an edge, and we can provide that to them with rapid time to value. We have a high customer lifetime value. We are an innovative team of serial entrepreneurs. We have experience working with financial institutions like NatWest, like Sage, like Generali and on, and others are very excited about what we're doing. Legal and General think we can find 5% more in terms of market insights. We want partners who want to outperform traditional market returns with us. So we're raising $750,000 to onboard our first clients and speed up product development. We expect to accelerate to seed within 14 months. Partner with us, invest in us, and we'll see what we can do.
At this point, I would quickly like to say a personal thank you for staying within the 3-minute mark. please.
Thanks for a great pitch. So could you just elaborate a bit on sort of what is the ROI of your solution? How have you been able to improve the returns with the insights that you gain from the platform?
Absolutely. So what we're doing is we're taking research and obviously analyzing it with large language models. And this what surfaces market forces. So as you saw, there's tightening monetary policy that might go in and create a banking sector crisis, all kinds of hosts of issues. This goes down into principal components analysis, so looking at what's going to happen to expected GDP growth, what's happening to liquidity, and this also goes into what we think is going to happen to asset class returns, so whether that's in sovereign bonds, corporate bonds, equities, or even commodities. And because we're using a Bayesian approach, so we're having multiple inputs across analysts and researchers, we have what the consensus is, and then we have unique insights. So we're looking at trying to outperform indexes or what other people are considering, whether the price is going to go up, by how much, and when, basically. So we're actually looking at over different time horizons. So we're looking at long strat. So a lot of people are very much concerned on our platform at the moment about rates and whether we're at the new normal or whether we're expecting, let's say, after they've got inflation under control, they're expecting them to go back down to sort of last 10 years era. Probably not, but we're looking at the consensus across those organizations. In the more short term, we're looking at our systems more concerned at looking at US equities and thinking that they might be priced a little bit too high given AI's hype cycle, and what that then means further down the chain in terms of commodities and what that might mean in terms of resources. So yes, we're looking at key insights across the board, really.
I think Thomas was first.
Okay, to me it sounds like you have a lot of research questions here to solve, right? And you call it the human in the AI loop or something?
Human in the loop, yeah.
Now, is it really a loop, or is it just you take the analyst's data as input and then it's all AI? Where is the loop with the human? I don't really see.
First of all,
see the data comes from analysts, which are humans, but where's the loop with the humans?
Yeah, so I'm Rogério, I'm the CTO. So first of all, human in loop is a technical term for AI. So it's when you have a system that requires humans in a certain step to actually learn better the data. So that's what we're calling about. But yes, it's a lot about human in loop. So our system can ingest a lot of this data, but you do need human beings to think about it a little bit. Because the other part of this is that we think that by capturing what real human beings think about the market, it's one of the edges that we can have on the AI. So that's the part of the human in the loop.
Yeah.
Maybe a follow-up question. Let's assume it works. Why don't you just do your own fund instead of selling it to others?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
we have thought about this case. But what we want to do is try to look at mapping how humans think and how different humans think and how their thought process changes. So the more people that we can generate onto our system, the better the results that we're going to get. Now we expect across different organizations, and obviously it's a multi-tenanted platform, so data is completely segregated. But for example, Barclays, Nomura, UBS themselves, whoever will have different interpretations of markets and will therefore have different investment strategies. We want our solution to learn how that organization thinks. And obviously, that's why we're going in that direction and not creating our own fund.
Cool.
So maybe a question, why would your clients buy your solution versus just build themselves if they have different strategies, as you mentioned? Why would they buy from you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it all comes down to the machine learning capability, and Rogério is probably in a better place to speak about.
So I used to work at BCG when you actually build products for big corporations. They never work. They just don't have the capabilities. They don't understand how to do this. They don't understand how to deal with data like this. What they're good at is economic models, and they're really good. But gathering data, making sure that people can do this, and gathering data from the outside, that's not their core business. First and second, there's a lot of published documents out there. There's a lot of news out there. We can basically use that as an advantage of scaling, right? So we can build it once and deploy to a lot of customers, whereas someone who wanted to build it by themselves have to build it, right?
Maybe adjacent to that, like, is the current boom in LLMs more helping you, or is it something that
So
makes,
this
like,
is
your product?
yeah, really good question, because I mean, as you'll know, Bloomberg's going to release their own Bloomberg GPT. We've got BlackRock who are releasing Index GPT. I think, to be honest, regulators are going to be very concerned about what these black box algorithms are doing. I mean, beyond quants, in quants, the risk is known. VAR models are known from the investor risk, but when they start going into more general investment advice, regulators will want to open that up, and that's why I believe human in the loop is going to be a requirement. They will want us, even if it's a smaller data model, they'll want humans in there to interrogate it, especially, and also know when it's wrong, so it's not hallucinating, because if you're relying on it for your investment advice, God forbid it goes wrong, because it can go wrong very quickly, very badly. So yeah, I think it's helping us, to be honest.
And it helps us a lot to actually be able to extract data from documents, right? But, you know, as Rory said, that's... if you have used actually LLM, you'll see that that's a lot of hallucinations, and that's exactly the kind of thing that you shouldn't have in economics. So
also, great topic to follow up later on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So now, last but not least, yes, I said it, we'll have Journey with Vince and Nick, and I will have to point out that Nick is also one of the gym bros.
Sometimes. Not as big as Rick, though.
Very important.
Hey, as Joel said, I'm Nick. I'm one of the co-founders at Journey.
And I'm Vince. I'm the other co-founder. We both absolutely hate renting. That's why we're on a journey to make homeownership possible for our generation. As you guys know, homeownership is a generational problem affecting millions of young adults. Just look at the screen for some of the things that people are saying online. The situation's gotten so bad that home prices relative to income have doubled in the last 30 years, while ownership rates for young adults has plummeted from above 60% to below 30% today. We're solving this by creating a new system that gives you the perks of owning with the flexibility of renting, and we're going to tell you how this works. Step 1, you find your dream home and make a 2% contribution towards moving in. This counts towards your future deposit. Step 2, each year with Journey, you buy 1% equity in the home at a fixed price until after 8 years, you have a 10% stake in your home. Here's where it gets exciting. Any time after year 2, you can use that 10% to get a mortgage and buy the home outright and become a homeowner, or cash it out at full value without a penalty and build wealth just by renting. Our system works by connecting you with our institutional investors in a model where both sides win. You get to lock in your dream home immediately, you get a higher buying budget than with a traditional mortgage, and you get to build wealth through renting. They get scalable exposure to an attractive asset class with better underlying economics than normal buy-to-let investments and proprietary data insights thanks to the numerous interactions that we have with our customers.
And we're planning to address a massively underserved market of 1.8 million households all throughout the UK that are currently trapped in a perpetual rental cycle that just want to own a home, but by virtue of a broken mortgage system, they can't. Now, these households represent 18 billion pounds of annual recurring rent that's being paid to landlords that's not generating anything for them. There's a better way to do this, and we at Journey can offer a better way, and we want to capture all of that. And since we've launched this about 8 months ago, we've received a massive outpouring of customer traction and support. We've had 220 million pounds worth of customer pipeline demand. We've signed channel partnerships with key industry stakeholders, and we've received funding. We are Tennity's first follow-on investment, and they joined Core Angels, Jensen, and a global family office in our cap stack. And who are we? As Vince says, we're people that hate renting. And Journey was really born out of all the frustrations that Vince and I came across when we were trying to buy our first home. We haven't done it yet. And this sentiment is shared by the rest of our team, and we're supported by a great senior advisor that's helping us build and implement our vision. And our vision is simple. We want a new model for housing that works for multiple generations, not just ours, but all the ones to come. And the way we're going about this is that we're launching our beta home pilot purchase program. We're scaling up with great investment partners, allowing us to position ourselves as the #1 alternative for mortgages, and finally, allowing us to revamp housing. So if you're interested in joining the journey to change how housing works, then we'd love to speak to you. Get in touch with us today and check out our new website. Thank you very much. Also, it's not very often you can see your mom and dad in the audience, so thanks for coming, mom and dad. Love you both.
Who's going to start? John?
I can start. I love the vision. I'm not sure if I understood the process already fully. So, like, how does it work for the investor in the journey? Like, what happens if the house is not bought, and like, how does that like, how is it interesting for them?
That's a brilliant question. So we're building a model where both sides win regardless of the outcome. So unlike other rent-to-own models, we don't charge an exit penalty to the tenant, but as you rightly say, the tenant retains the option to buy the home. What that functionally means is that the customer and the investor, they share in the upside in the home as it grows in value, and they share in the downside. So if the customer chooses not to exercise the home, the landlord has the optionality to either let it out to a new tenant, sell it on the open market, or find a new journey customer to move in at the current market rate. So they're always getting market exposure to the buy-to-let space.
Okay.
So 2 questions. So how do you source the supply, and how do you make money?
Yeah, maybe I can start supply and you can go money. So we operate a demand-driven model. What that means for the customer, we empower them to go into the open market, so secondary house purchasing websites like Rightmove or Zoopla, or even through their real estate agents to submit us the home that they want. Now that gives the customer a more positive experience, but more importantly, from an operational standpoint, it relieves a massive burden for us to hold housing stock.
And in terms of how we make money, so we make money by charging the funding partner, not the tenant. So we charge the funding partner a 1% fee upfront per home purchased and a 0.8% annual fee as a percentage of the capital deployed. What that means is that we can recoup the cost of acquiring customers instantaneously from day one and generate over £20,000 of lifetime value for customers that stay for the full 8 years that they have with us.
Please.
Maybe just to reiterate on, there's a landlord, he owns the house, somebody wants the house. Now, you have a fund that buys the house, so you can guarantee that ultimately the renter can buy it. So you need to purchase it at the current market rate, right?
Correct.
But I think later you're not sure whether the guy is going to buy it or not, right? And you're also not sure whether it goes up and down in prices.
Correct.
So you carry the full risk, basically.
No, we don't carry the full risk. We are actually the intermediary. Our investment partner carries the full risk. But these are investors that are already looking for real estate exposure. So this is a risk that they've already priced in and they're willing to accept. And we don't buy the house from the landlord. These are homes that are on the secondary market that are already put up for sale. So there is sort of selling intent already.
But it's just residential property, right?
Single
Which is
family
a very peculiar market, right, for investors.
Correct. It's a market that actually yields about 88 billion pounds of annual rent per year, single family homes, and that's the addressable market we want to target.
So you can only address the houses which we can rent out, not the luxury segment which you can't really rent out, right?
We do. Do you want to talk about product?
Yeah, sure, happy to. So you're right. So our core audience are people who are first-time buyers looking to get on the property ladder. They're typically young adults, perhaps with a kid, who have a stable income but don't have the deposit to be able to buy a home. Our target market is not sort of the luxury segment as of now. So actually outside of London, we limit home prices up to £400,000, and within London that increases to £800,000. So that's very much the segment that we're targeting, as you rightly said.
Thank you.
Please.
On the investor side, does always one investor buy one home, or can you like pool and diversify?
For a beta program, we're actually setting up a single SPV per home purchases, and that's only a sort of a workable solution for a beta. But as we transition to sort of the medium-term funding partner plan, we're looking for sort of an open fund model that allows them to pool assets together.
Great.
Cool. Thank you.
Seemed like a very clear pitch. Thank you so much. You can leave it there as well. Perfect. So now, while we give the jury, our sharks, a little bit of time to deliberate who they want to announce the winner of tonight's Shark Tank Award, you, audience, this is your time to shine now. You see all the... I'm sorry, this is an old version. I changed it, I promise, Damien. I changed it. Ignore the demonstrating picture. Otherwise, you have all the speakers here of tonight with the startup. You can vote for the best storytelling over there. And we'll also announce that one later on. Gonna give you a tiny bit of time. Maybe you have to zoom in if it doesn't work on the first try. In the meantime, I would like to welcome the people who got the startups here to this point so they can come up on stage and pitch like that and answer these questions. We'd really very much like to welcome them on stage, our program team. We have Magdalena Tuta, we have Claudine Schuchert, and we have Claudia Kapersky. Thank you. Of course, this is not everything. Tenity is a huge team, so maybe now I see some of you are sitting in the middle. Why are you doing this to me? Please, Tenity team, who can come within a closer time frame, come to the stage, show your pretty faces.
Can all make it. No?
Yeah.
Lovely. Matthias got the memo as well. I love it. Way! Thank you. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just a brief heads up. You might have noticed that you have little colorful dots on your name tags. These correspond with the group you have signed up with, so investors, corporates, mentors, startups, or the black one is Tenity Friends and Family, so this will also help you then later on engage with during the networking part downstairs. Great. So I see that the sharks, they look very ready, so I'm gonna go get my envelope from over here. I hope you guys have voted as well. I am gonna get my second envelope from over there. I think. Maybe.
Is there someone?
Maybe not. Not yet. Not yet. Okay. Has everybody voted for the audience award? Should I go back to the QR code? Yes? Seriously? Are you voting for yourselves, guys? Wow. Let's see if it's still open. Let's try again. Does it work? This is not the one. This is the old one. I love technical problems. This is amazing. Well, anyways, then we'll turn it around. We'll start with the Shark Tank Award. Of course, matching our Although we were actually going for a Big Bang. I know Sabine said Friends, but we're actually going for a Big Bang Theory, but well, here we are. Anyways, going with our cinema theme of tonight, we have little Oscar awards for the winners. So maybe we can do like a little drum roll on our legs. Very good, very good. So Shark Tank Award winner of tonight is Journey. Thank you so much. Here you go. This is for you. Pose for pictures. Proud mom and dad. Of course, we have a little bit of...
I'm more excited than this.
A little bit of something. Of course. I mean, come on. How cool is the Oscar, though?
It's really cool.
How cool is the Oscar? Okay. Thank you so much. I already showed them my dream house in the UK, so maybe you will have to come visit me soon over there. It looks like we managed. Yes, I love this. Let's see if the audience agrees with our sharks. Yeah, that was, I figured. I knew it. I should be one of the oracles, Rory. Anyways, so the audience award winner of tonight is Smart Purse. Here you go. Please pose for pictures. Thank you. Awesome. So that was not all of the presents that I had here tonight. Of course, our dear sharks are going to get some presents as well. We have some merch bags back here. I'm going to give them to one of my lovely team colleagues to distribute. Mark.
Of course.
Not my dress. That was not part of this part of the night. Great. No, we can figure out the details afterwards. Thank you so much. That was really very entertaining. I would love to hear a bit on how the decision-making went afterwards over a glass of wine. Okay, before we finish, what's next? You can already sign up for the upcoming demo day in November. You find the discount code for your free ticket on the slide. Maybe you want to take a picture, sign up later, whatever. And also in July, we're going to have Thirsty Thursday. Some of you might know the format. We'll have an expert speaker. This time it's going to be Chief of Staff from Planted. So for those of you who eat vegan, you are surely aware of them. They're going to talk about how you create the market for your product, and they will be in our Tenety offices close to Bahnhof Hartbrücke. Great, so at this point, we're wrapping it up. I think it's not only me who needs a glass of wine. I'm sure you all are thirsty. I would really like to extend a big thank you also to you as an audience, as an ecosystem, as a community member. And this is not only a very special demo day, also for me personally, because it's the 10th and everything, but also because it's going to be my last demo day with Tenety. So after you have talked to all the startups, I want to see you all talking to the startups. I brought my yearbook that we printed for this batch specifically. I want to see you all with me and write something nice into my yearbook. But that we do definitely over a glass of wine and a little bit of food. Thank you all so much. I am Joelle, and I will see you downstairs.